bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. Broadcasting from the attic, you can check out my website, thehohoshow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can email me, hoho@thehohoshow.com. Check out my YouTube channel and find me on Facebook. And so welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and as always, I am your host, Ho Ho. That's right, yes I am. Alright guys, I got a couple news stories I was wanting to get to today, and just in case you noticed, or maybe you'll notice, I don't know, I'm going to tell you anyway. I have, kind of adjusted my my volume levels. There's a couple things that, guys told me that, just a little too low. And so I'm wanting to kind of fix that. And other than that, that's with my sound effects, one of the, all right, what was it? The one with, Bill Whittle? So, yeah. So I'm just kind of changing around some of my audio levels and see if I can't get it a little bit better, easier to listen to me. Of course, I do think the audio levels at this point is going to be a lot louder. So I'm hoping that, it's not too loud. If it is, please let me know. And I'll turn it down a little bit. So, but until then, let's see. The first story I want to get into, and this one comes from Mashable. And truth be told, I have never heard of them before. So, headline, Steve Bannon warned Trump about the 25th Amendment, and Trump didn't know what it was. And, truth be told, if I want to be completely honest, I didn't know what the 25th Amendment was until I read what the 25th Amendment was. Now, I mean, I definitely knew that it was an amendment. I just didn't know which one it was. And what he was talking about, Steve Bannon, anyway, was more or less the, Section 4, where it discusses that the vice president, along with the cabinet members, can, upon vote, basically classify the president as unable to fulfill the duties of the presidency and remove him from office until such a time that he is deemed fit to serve again as president. So, and this law was put into, or I shouldn't say this law, this amendment was actually ratified February, sorry about that. Let me get into it. Let me get right on into it. What did I say, 25? Oh, there it is, there we go. 25th Amendment, and this was ratified February 10th of 1967. So, as amendments goes, this one is pretty, it's a young, and it's a baby amendment. It's it's a little young, and so they very much seen the need for this whenever JFK was assassinated, and also I believe it was Woodrow Wilson that whenever he was, a debilitating stroke in 1919, and behind closed doors, his wife was the one that was basically making all the decisions, And if I remember correctly, it was one of them things that, they, I guess, cabinet members and, just the staff itself, they were getting sick and tired of, the president just blowing off the meetings and not doing anything, not participating in it whatsoever. And basically it was one of them things they were giving things for the president to sign. And it was going to the first lady. What was her name? I'm looking. I am. Hold on. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Stop it. Okay. Doesn't say. Or at least it doesn't say in this article. And I don't remember what her name was. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. But the point is, that is why they did the whole, 25th Amendment in order to, alleviate the problem of, what do we do now? Who's in charge? Because I guess, before the 25th Amendment, it was a big, a big to-do. They really didn't know what to do. They didn't know, who should lead, this, that, and the other. I mean, obviously it was one of the things, it's like, the vice president, obviously. But other than that, how do we proceed with this thing? So that's what the 25th Amendment did, is it provided a clear succession of, if this person, is killed or cannot serve, then it becomes this person, and then on down the line. Okay. Now, part of the problem that I have with Section 4 is that because it's one of them things that, it can be used as a political maneuver done by, people that don't have the country's best interest in heart or in mind. And it's one of them things that you definitely see how it can be used and abused for political gain, however that case may be. Now, granted, I mean, since 1967, it's not one of the things that has happened, so the likelihood of it, well, I can't really say that the likelihood is slim to none. I mean, let's be honest, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it to President Donald Trump, because he is not a politician. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the best thing about the guy. He's not a politician, he's not. And, and that's one of them things. I mean, you liberal left, you Democrats, you Hillary Clinton supporters, you can whine and cry all you want to, but it doesn't matter. Okay. The funny thing was that whenever she lost Florida, she was, all about the recount. Oh, there was Donald Trump cheated, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. So they did a recount. And through, voter fraud, come to find out that Donald Trump actually won with a bigger lead than they originally thought. And it was actually so bad with voter fraud and some of the other things that, with the other things that they found, people voting 2 or 3 different times, dead people voting, which, I mean, just so you guys know, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Democrats, dead people can't vote. And then with people who vote, 2 or 3 different times, and you have, illegal aliens voting, and just for the record, illegals can't vote either. It's not a right that they have. They have no say in the government, in how the government works. Okay? This is not a freedom granted to anybody other than legal United States of America citizens. Period. That's just the way that it is. Okay? Now, let me get into, I know I've got some more, Donald Trump news. Nope, that's not it. I went the wrong direction. Nope, I'll catch that one later. No, I'll do that one later too. Actually, I'll do that one with that one. Yeah, all right. So, and this kind of coincides with what the president is doing and why it was, in a matter of speaking, one of them things that, Bannon warned Trump of the 25th Amendment. Okay, Trump he's going against the grain, guys. I mean, he really is, and that's more or less, that's the bottom line. That's what the problem is. These guys are mad at him because he's stirring up the pot. All right? He is doing his best to drain the swamp, to stir the pot, and he's making enemies. I mean, he is. He's making enemies, and of which case, good. That's what the people want. That's why we elected somebody who was not a politician. All right? So this article comes from, CNN. Trump begins Obamacare dismantling with executive order. Okay? Now, just so you know, there was a lot of things that either happened to Obamacare or aspects of Obamacare that got pushed back because, Obama knew darn good and well that if, all the aspects of Obamacare was actually implemented when it was supposed to be implemented and according to the law that Congress passed, that he wouldn't have got reelected. That's what he was afraid of. Okay? So he, rolled back some of the the start dates of this stuff, which was just so you know, it is a violation of his constitutional authority. He does not get to dictate when laws become active, that is something that the law itself dictates. His job is to enforce the law, not to say when or whether or not a law is going to get enforced. Okay? So he screwed up. He really did. And those aspects of Obamacare that was, put in through executive order, obviously, Mr. Trump, the president, has all executive authority to do away with said aspects of law because they're not law. They were executive order. Aha. That's right. So I am going to take this opportunity to take a quick break, and when I return, let me see, what is the next one I'm wanting to get into? Let's see, it's either that one or that one. Ooh, or that one. I think I might actually dedicate an entire segment to that one. I think I'll do that one last. I think I'll do this one. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break. And when I return, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL, actually. I mean, I haven't talked about that in a while. I've really kind of stayed away from it, So this episode, why not? Let's bring it back a little bit. Let's kind of, see what you guys think about the NFL losing so much money. And, we'll talk about that when we get back. All right, guys, so here is, small break. Be back in a couple minutes. Enjoy the music. Broadcasting from the attic on the Ho Ho Show. And like I had said before, you can check out my website, thehohoshow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can email me. You can find me on Facebook and check out my YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Ho Ho Show. And I am your host, the host with the most, Ho Ho. Ha ha. That's right. All right, so let's get right into it. This article comes from, as soon as it pulls back up again, GOP USA. Again, this is another one that I've actually not even heard of. And this one hit the wire about 9 hours ago. Now I got to pull back into it again. There's an order to these things sometimes, and, maybe one of these days I'll learn what that order is and kind of do this thing a little bit smoother. But at any rate, Canadian Press. Isn't that spiffy? All right, so headline: some legal pundits say NFL will face First Amendment lawsuit over forcing players to stand. All right, now, let's see, what aspect of this should I start off with first? Okay, look, it's like this. All right. Whenever they accepted, I guess you could say, the draft, or whenever they applied to the NFL or applied themselves to be worthy of the NFL, they signed what is called a contract. And in this contract, they agreed that their ass belongs to the NFL pre-game, post-game, in the locker room and on the field for game days. Okay? And that, that contract also states that no personal political politics will be, no demonstrations like this during the game. Pre-game, post-game, locker room, or field. That's what it says clearly. So they are in violation of their contract. All right? Pure and simple. They are in violation of that contract. They do not have the First Amendment right of free speech, of, a peaceful protest to do this. They do not have that right at the workplace because they signed a contract relinquishing that right to protest. I mean, it's that simple. That's what it amounts to. That's what it boils down to. They don't have their First Amendment right pre-game, post-game, locker room, or on the field. Period. Like it or not, I really don't give a damn. They don't have the right. Period. So it is well within the right of the NFL to say, you will stand, or you will get off my field, you will get out of those pads, you will get out of my stadium, and you will never play here again. Because the NFL has all rights to do that, to suspend them, to fire them. Period. I don't care if you don't like it. They signed that right away when they signed the contract to get paid to play a game. Pure and simple. I don't care if you like it or not. That's the reality of the situation. That's what they agreed to upon signing that contract. All right. So that's really all I got for that one. It's plain simple. Where's the argument? Where's the discussion on this? I truly don't understand it whatsoever. So, speaking of contracts, let's go ahead and go back to a little bit more Trump news. All right. This actually hit the wire, it looks like 10 hours ago. Headline from the street: Trump's call to shut down broadcast news puts media in no-win situation. So again, we're talking again about contract, okay? Whenever this whole broadcasting thing was in its infancy stage, okay, part of, the FCC regulations and licensing agreement for a broadcast news. What are you doing? Get off of there. Okay, so, part of the broadcast news. Sorry, I had something pop up on my screen. I don't know why. Stinking pop-ups. I hate them. But, all right. ADD. Gotta love it. Headline: Trump's call to shut down broadcast news puts media in no-win situation. So, when all this was in its infancy stage, the FCC, as part of their licensing agreement with the broadcast network, said that you will dedicate 1 hour's worth of broadcast for news and information. Period. News and information. All right. Now, it is no secret that broadcasting networks like, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, ESPN, Comcast Corporation, it's no surprise. It's pretty well a well-known fact that they don't necessarily talk about the news. They talk about things that they want to keep in the news. They guide a narrative is what they do. It's all about a political agenda that they spew out. It's left-wing political agenda that they do. They run smear campaigns on, they've done it on Trump. They run smear campaigns all the time. But they purposefully hide the truth and mask the truth in order to advance a narrative. All right. It's no secret. It's no surprise. It's documented. Companies like CNN has even admitted to it that, we don't broadcast the news. All right. So, as part of their license agreement with the FCC, Trump is talking about doing away with that, their broadcast news media, shutting them down. And again, he's well within his right to do this. Why? Because they are knowingly breaching a contract with the American people and the government. All right? Now, again, this may be one of the things some people may want to say that, oh, this is political overreach. It's like, really? For the government to stand up for what's right, for news and information, to shutting down a broadcast media monopoly not monopoly, that's not the right word. Well, at any rate, they lied to the American people time and time again. It's not, it's nothing that they even lie about anymore, that they do it. It's fact. They've admitted to it. They know that they do it. Everybody knows that they do it. And like I said, it is a clear violation of their contract, that FCC regulation, that they will set aside 1 hour of broadcasting every day for news and information. And slander, just so you know, is not news, because news is based off of fact. It is based off of what is actually happening. It is not a political agenda like what they have been doing for the past, 10 years at least. I mean, it became big in the past 10 years, with anti-Bush and pro-Obama. And then with this first year of Trump, it's all a political agenda. That's what they're doing. It's no secret. So yeah, Trump's shutting it down. Of course he's shutting it down, and as he should. Because fact of the matter is, these broadcast networks who claim to be doing the news instead slander and lie and promote a political agenda, a narrative that they want to, try to convince the American people of, regardless of whether it's true or not. And they know that a lot of these things aren't true, like the whole thing with gun control. They know that the crap spewing out of their mouths is not true, but they spew it out anyway. Because they feel as though they are untouchable, that they are more powerful than the FCC, who gives them their power. Yeah, go figure that one out. You're biting the hand that feeds people. Didn't your mom ever tell you shouldn't do that? Who knows? So moving on. Yeah. So I've got one more story to cover. And before I get to it, I'm going to take a quick break. All right. Here's a little bit of 70s funk. Enjoy it. Be back in a couple minutes. Welcome back to the Ho Ho Show. And I am broadcasting from the attic, and of course I am your host. The host with the most, Ho Ho. Alright guys, well, the last story that I got for you guys, and this one came out actually about 9 hours ago from USA Today. Headline: Yellowstone supervolcano may blow sooner than thought and could wipe out life on the planet. Boom, boom, boom. Whenever I read this article, and there's actually a picture in this article too. Again, USA Today, Yellowstone supervolcano. The picture on this, not the first one. That one actually is a picture of, I don't even know. It almost looks like Mount St. Helens, but I have no idea. And I'm guessing this one right here is a picture of something or another. Right there. Yeah, Wyoming National Park, Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, of course. It's a thermal picture, and it actually looks pretty stinking cool. It really does. Of course, I'm way over here in Illinois. I'm nowhere near Yellowstone. But, ooh, that was a good one. All right, and of course, looking at this article, or reading the headline and then kind of, skimming through the article, it reminded me of a movie. I know. Of course it did. Of course it did. No way. Yeah. It reminded me of a movie. Now, I'm not 100% sure which movie it was that I was, that I'm actually thinking about. I think it's Dante's Peak with Pierce Brosnan, but I'm not 100% sure. It's very possible that it was the movie Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. But at any rate, I'm pretty sure it was the Pierce Brosnan movie, Dante's Peak. But there is an analogy that he puts in there whenever he's talking about Dante's Peak and about the problem that they're about ready to have. And they're talking about, of course, putting a frog in a pot of boiling water. When you do that, the frog is going to jump out. Why? Because it's freaking hot. So yeah. He's going to jump out. His body temperature went from, room to boiling like that. Obviously, he knew something was wrong. He jumped out. But if you put a frog into a pot of warm water, or at least lukewarm water, room temperature water, and then you turn on the heat and slowly bring the temperature up to boiling, the frog will stay in the pot of water and will boil to death. That's how you boil a frog. You see, when the frog is in the environment, and this is partially because it is a cold-blooded reptile, or amphibian, whatever them things are. They're frogs, okay? They're frogs. But they are cold-blooded. So as long as the temperature doesn't change drastically or too quickly, they'll stay in the environment because they don't notice the difference. It's not that big of a deal to them, So yeah, that's how you kill a frog. That's how you boil a frog to death. And, one of the things that I read in here, a detail in this article, I thought was absolutely amazing. And I'll just go ahead and read this small paragraph. The discovery, which was presented at a recent volcanology conference, and so apparently it was, held on Spock's home planet, it comes on top of a 2011 study that found that ground above the magma reservoir in Yellowstone had bulged by about 10 inches in 7 years. Now, obviously, that doesn't really sound like a whole heck of a lot. And I gotta admit, it doesn't. But when you take into consideration, this is 10 inches in 7 years. Do you actually understand what it takes to move that much earth? What kind of pressure is involved in doing that? It's a lot, And, let's face it, too. Just kind of understand that Yellowstone is a geological hotspot, okay? things are shifting constantly. Magma is right there close to the surface. There's not a lot of crust or mantle or, whatever's right under there. There's not a lot of it there. It is a geological hotspot. There's a lot going on right there. There really is. And one of the things that makes Yellowstone so amazing, and also, I guess, in a matter of speaking, safe, is that the pressure isn't building up there because you constantly have release of pressure. Old Faithful is an example of that. That as the pressure builds up, it geysers out. And same goes with the mud pool. Is that in Yellowstone? I'm not 100% sure on that one if that's actually in Yellowstone. But they got mud baths in there, and it's hot mud baths. This isn't something that's just like lukewarm or halfway chilled. This is a warm mud bath. And I think that's in Yellowstone. I could be wrong on that one. I don't know, but you've got like actual mud that basically is, boiling. It pops from the boil of the water in it. That's just amazing. And how is that water boiling? Oh, there's, volcanic activity going on underneath you. And it's heating the magma, it's heating the mud to that temperature. Is that scary or what? And when you stop and think about it, absolutely that's scary. Holy crap. It's safe, relatively, I guess you can say, maybe, but it's like, wow, it really is neat. But that's one of the things that makes Yellowstone so amazing. That's one of the things that, I have to admit, guys, I'm 38. 38? Yeah. I'm 38 years old. Never been to Yellowstone. Truth be told, when it comes to national monuments or like national parks like that, I've not been to them. I've not been to, what's the one that's got all the presidents on it? Yeah, so I've not been there. I've not been to, Yellowstone National Park. I've not been to Niagara Falls. I've not been to, I've been close to Washington, D.C. I've been on the outer loop as a truck driver, Now, granted, I've been to, 97. No, 98 of the 99 continental United States. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 97. 40. Dang it. Okay. 47 of the 49 continental United States. U.S. states. Yeah, there we go. Whew, wow. That took a lot of work to get that crap out of my mouth. But there's only 2 states of the continental U.S. that I've not been to. Alaska and Maine. I've been to all the rest of them. Every one of them. Been to all of them. I've seen a lot. I've seen some amazing landscapes, sceneries, mountains, gorges, canyons. I've not been to the Grand Canyon, but I've been to Marble Canyon, which is huge as well. It's actually a part of the same canyon, So I've been there. But not a lot. Not a lot else. I've been pretty darn close to the ocean. I've been on the ports. I've gone into Canada a lot. So, but, I've seen a lot. But as far as things like that, and national monuments and, things of that nature, I've not seen a lot. I really haven't. A lot of other things I have, but that I haven't. I'd love to see Yellowstone. It'd really, really, really be cool. But that's one of the things, and truth be told, that's one of the things that they've been talking about for quite a while is that, I guess in a matter of speaking, it's ready to pop. It's ready for, an explosion. It's getting to that time, archaeologists can do, just kind of dig. Oh, wow. About 630,000 years ago, National Geographic reported a powerful eruption shook the region and created the Yellowstone caldera, a bowl 40 miles wide that forms much of the park. That's pretty cool. But yeah, they've pretty much gone back and, oh, wow, that's cool. Okay, so I need to stop scrolling on this article. There's a lot of neat pictures and, different things on it. It really is a worthwhile article to read. There's a lot of, a lot of nice pictures in here. Very, very cool. I like it. I mean, it really does seem like, Yellowstone would be an amazing place to visit. Definitely an amazing place to visit. But, it's one of the things that they can go back and they can see, and they can, do archaeological studies on, the soil and, do some digging and find out, more or less how long ago it was that it last erupted and whatnot. So, and I think that's kind of part of what they're talking about, that it's, it's basically it's time. It can happen anytime, and it's just, be mindful of it. Keep it in the news, keep paying attention to what's going on. And, it's probably one of them things you might not want to be close to it. You really won't be. I mean, you know what I mean. All right, guys, that concludes the show. And again, actually, slight update. Tomorrow I'll be getting some cables, Cat 5 cable. This way I can actually broadcast live again, because I stopped doing that because, I was getting people telling me that, it was cutting out, and, it was skipping, because the stream just didn't have as good of a connection as it needed to really be smooth. And of course I couldn't do live streaming, and I wanted to do that, but couldn't do live stream. So, I'll definitely get it figured out. I'll get this thing going, and it'll be great. I'm excited about it. So hopefully, as long as this more or less goes right, I'll have the Ho-Ho Show Saturday edition broadcasting live stream to Periscope, which I believe will go to Twitter. It'll be broadcasting to YouTube. And, I mean, I may actually go to a few other places as well, because with this restreaming app that I am going to be using for this, or I guess website, service, whatever you want to call it, it, does a live stream to quite a few different things. So, I mean, I'm definitely excited about being able to do this. I'm actually just looking at the list right now. I mean, it's got Mixer, which I've never heard of it, never used it. Ustream, Twitch, Smashcast. Sorry, I can read. Cyber Game. I know there's quite a few different ones on here, and most of them I'll be honest with you, I've not even heard of. So definitely very, very cool. Of course, Periscope and Good Game, Cyber Game TV, Daily Motion, Live EDU, Vapors.tv. There's a lot in here. And of course, I mean, I'm only looking at 2, and that's it. Basically YouTube, Stream Now, and Periscope. So that's what I'm looking at doing. Very, very cool. I'm excited about it. I really am. So, yeah. So that concludes the show. I thank you very much for listening. And, yeah, it's exciting. There was something else I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got. Thank you very much for listening. Like me on the things. And, that's what I was going to say. So I am starting, I've looked into and am getting the ball rolling on my own app that will be available on the Google Play Store for the Ho-Ho Show. It almost looks like it is, like it charges you this amount of money for this, and it charges you the same amount of money for doing the other. So I'll start off by doing, the Ho-Ho Show available on, which will be downloadable, and it will be a free app. I'm sure there's going to be ads in it, but it will be a free app to download on Google Play. And I will also end up doing as well an app on iTunes as well. Of course, first is going to be Google Play, and then I'll move on from there. An actual downloadable app that is just kick-ass. I think that's amazing. So I'm getting the ball rolling on that one, getting stuff taken care of. I got to apply for, and there's like a one-time fee for doing this, but to be a developer, and, Spreaker, which is who is going to be basically hosting this, they're very cool. I basically just tell them what I'm wanting, and they do the whole app. They develop the whole thing. They put it and they make it available right there on the Google Play Store, as easy as it can possibly be done. And it's very, very awesome. I'm very excited about this. So, that should be up and going, I don't know, maybe a week, maybe less. I don't know. So I'm definitely excited about it. It is very, very cool. So that is all I got. Thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you for being a part of the Ho Ho Show. And, just let's have fun. Let's continue to have fun with this. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.